Alright, what's up guys? I'm back for another reaction video. Today we're going to be reacting to ESPN is still lying for Bronny James. Now there's a whole lot of drama going on around the Lakers trade, well the initial draft for Bronny James. Since then, they have waived a couple players to keep Bronny on the team, and a lot of people have a lot to say about it. Bronny does have a lot of fans that cheer him on, and it's kind of crazy to see in every arena he goes to, whether it's home or away, there's people chanting for Bronny James, which is crazy. Now his position right now, he was forced into a weird spot. It's not really his fault, but yeah, let's react to it, and then I'll give my thoughts.
17.7 to 10 shooting from the field. I was impressed, okay? This is the big picture here that I want to bring up. I might have been wrong.
What?
Are you listening, LeBron James? Are you listening, James fan?
And this is my problem with Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is so flaky. He never stands on anything he says definitively, right? LeBron got up in his face, pretended to be tough, and that was really all it took to scare Stephen A. Smith away, right? And we know that a lot of these analysts are pretty much on LeBron's payroll. There are an exception of some, and not many people really will call LeBron out. When he does do crazy stuff, LeBron has a history of doing crazy stuff.
Family, are you listening, Rich Paul? Are you listening, all of you people? I've always believed that this kid has the potential, once I watched him, to be in the NBA. He's a liar.
When it comes to the Bronny James saga, virtually every week at this point, there's some new chapter, some new take, and especially some new narrative about him being an NBA player. And looking at this week, Bronny for the first time this year had a decent game. As versus the Bucks, 17 points, 5 dimes, 4 turnovers on 7 to 10 shooting.
Clear your stuff with Mike. I'm coming at you just.
And I remember that game too. They were pretty much hyping up that game like the Lakers were winning the game when they were getting violated the whole game. And of course, this is why garbage time exists, right? He had a good run on garbage time. At that point, the game really didn't matter. And I see people saying, oh, I can see that he's improving. I don't see that, honestly, right? Because to me, he doesn't improve until they put him in to where it matters. If he drops 20 points in the first quarter, I'm going to say he improved. But when he's dropping 17 points in garbage time, like, come on, guys, really? The bar has dropped. Let's just be honest about that. The bar has dropped.
Clear in front of me. There's James Jr.
If any player not named Bronny James had 17 points in a blowout loss, I mean, it's another Tuesday in the NBA, some guy went off in a meaningless game. But because Bronny James did it now all of a sudden, it's some monumental event, some statement game that proved everybody wrong. The way social media ESPN covered this, you'd think Bronny dropped 50 in a playoff game and had a game win.
And that's exactly what I was saying. The way they were covering this whole thing, dude, it was like fucking Bronny was like Kobe himself.
In the process. But in all reality, he scored 17 points in a blowout loss.
I'm not impressed by your performance.
The way people treat Bronny James in the media and social media, it's like a Make-A-Wish player, a charity case. I mean, which player in NBA history gets a highlight reel for scoring 2 points in the Summer League? Nobody does, except Bronny. In that Bucks game, he was getting highlight reels and praise for almost doing something versus Giannis, but of course, losing the ball, creating a turnover. The same fans get mad at you for calling out Bronny James, saying he's a Make-A-Wish player, they turn around and prove our point every single day. In Bronny James' pro career, regular season, preseason, and the Summer League, he's cracked 17 points twice. The first time he did it versus the Warriors, the last game of preseason, and of course most recently versus the Bucks during the actual season. And looking at both those games, they are eerily similar. The first time versus Golden State, the Lakers team, they benched nearly everyone. It was the third stringers, the G League team, the guys who don't get to play. The leaders in minutes of that game were as follows: Quincy Oliveira, a guy LA let go, Bronny himself, Maxwell Lewis, who's been traded, Jalen Hood-Schifino, also traded, and Armel Torre, a G League player. The Lakers in this game with their G League team got dusted 132-74. And despite that butt-whooping, what happened? Bronny James scored 17 points. That was the headlines and takeaways. Bronny proves he belongs by scoring 17. Never mind the blowout, the context, all that matters, Bronny James scored 17. Now looking at the game versus the Bucks, an eerily similar thing. The Lakers roster this game was their third stringer, second stringers, and some G League guys. As of course LeBron James, Luka, Reeves, Vanderbilt, Finney-Smith, and Rui were all absent from this game. The Lakers leaders in minutes this game versus the Bucks are as follows. First, Dalton Connect. Second, Jordan Goodwin. Third, Bronny James.
And one thing I will say is, what did Connect do? Lately, in the matches we've seen recently, Connect hasn't really had too many minutes. I kind of want to know why that is. Connect is, he has length, but he can't really defend that good. But he can shoot, and honestly, he's a better scorer to me than a lot of the other players they have on the team. But I just wonder why they don't always play him.
James, Markieff Morris, then Gabe Vincent. I mean, that right there, outside Dalton Connect, it's kind of the bum squad at the bottom of the bench, the bottom of the barrel. And of course, LA versus the Bucks in this game, they lost 118-89 and were simply destroyed. In the two games Bronny cracked 17 points, what's identical in both these games? LA's own players and marquee starters, they were not playing. The second thing, they got trounced and beat. The third thing, versus Golden State, a minus 37, and versus the Bucks, a minus 36.
Smells like a used diaper filled with Indian food.
A few years ago, I learned the real reason some producers blow up while others stay stuck. It's not about making better music. It's about
I have a whole ad blocker too. That's the crazy part.
If you look at every rookie this season, undrafted first-round pick, second-round pick, who's cracked 17 points in at least one game.
I just feel like
Bronny James versus
they
the
could have
Bucks
used that 50
had the worst plus-minus of all of them at
honest.
negative 36. For a lot of NBA fans now, players scoring 17 points in a blowout, that's considered monumental, a big deal, and noteworthy news. And for a lot of the pro-LeBron crowd, pro-Bronny crowd, this one single game to them proved Bronny James belongs and has earned his spot. Of course, rewriting history and labeling anyone who disagrees as a quote-unquote hater. If you let Bronny James play 30 minutes per game, run the show, be the number 2, number 3 option on a team, yes, he might score double digits, have some good games, but the Lakers' overall team, whatever team Bronny is playing for, they're not going to win games or be competitive, as that Lakers roster, at best, would crack 15, maybe 16 wins. And once again, looking at the NBA media, the 17-point game by Bronny was like Kobe scoring 81. It was that significant, that monumental. It was front-page news everywhere. And for someone like Stephen A. Smith, Bronny having one decent game, he put a complete 180 back.
What they really need is a good, versatile defender. They had that in AD. They gave it away for Luka. And now you essentially have a bunch of Lakers players who really don't play defense. They probably have 4, maybe 3 solid, good defensive players. Besides that, they don't really have any help. Their best luck at every game is just to outshoot every opponent. And this is what happens when you plan badly for a team.
And tucked his tail.
All they had to do was get Luka big,
17.7
and they would
to
have
10
been
shooting
fine.
from the field. I was impressed, okay? This is the big picture here that I want to bring up. I might have been wrong.
I might have been right.
Coward.
Yeah, coward.
If Stephen A. Smith wasn't an absolute coward, how he would respond to this game, he'd say, you know, Bronny had a good game, the team lost, but you know the dude had a good game. It was one good game.
Yep.
But instead, this dude just completely reverses his take and apologizes on the spot. Like I've said over and over again, Stephen A. Smith is an absolute coward. One moment tucking his tail, the next puffing his chest out, being braggadocious, boasting. Then 5 seconds later, once again reverts to having no backbone.
I've always believed that this kid has the potential, once I watched him, to be in the NBA.
Everything that guy just said is bullshit.
This guy right here is the biggest fraud in the media, and unfortunately has the biggest platform. So to do Stephen A. Smith's job for him, provide context to Bronny's game, I'm going to do that right now. If you look at this year's NBA draft class, as second-round picks or undrafted players to crack 17 points. Here's the players who've done that this very season. And make one point of note, none of these players get covered in the media like Bronny James. The first player to do this, Antonio Reeves, the 47th overall pick, dropped 34 points versus the Cavs in a 28-point loss. Jalen Wells, a second-round pick, number 39 overall, 30 versus the Kings in a point loss. Keaton Wallace, undrafted, 27 versus the Bulls. Jalen Wells again, 26 versus the Bulls. Justin Edwards, undrafted, 25 versus OKC, also versus the Spurs, both in losses. Jamison Battle, also undrafted, 24 versus the Pelicans. Jalen Wells, again, 22 versus the Spurs. Now, for sake of time, I'm not going to go through every single player, but here's the full complete list. There's a lot of second-round picks undrafted players who cracked 17 points this very season. But of course, unlike Bronny James, don't get the spotlight attention from ESPN or fans. And of course, why should they? Cracking 17 points, even like 18, 19 points in a game that's a blowout loss, a blowout win, really does not matter.
See, nobody cares.
Half those players I named right there, they're not going to be NBA players in 3 years, maybe 2 years, even next season. But of course, Bronny James, off his last name, he certainly will be. That context right there, second round picks, undrafted players, scoring 17 points, getting no shine, is very, very important. If you're a legit NBA player, second round pick, undrafted, you're given unlimited time with the ball, unlimited time on the court, 17 points should be pretty manageable, and a lot of these guys did it multiple times. But here's the thing, the bar for Bronny James is so low, if he does it once, it's like scoring 50 in a Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Him doing that is a monumental feat, worth the coverage, the clicks, the retweets. These guys do it, it's nobody cares.
And it's honestly sad, too, because it blatantly shows how rigged the NBA is for anybody with the last name James, right? There are plenty of rookies that go out there, perform up to expectations, if not beyond expectations, and they don't even get the media coverage that Bronny gets. And that's the crazy part, right? Because I saw him everywhere after scoring 17 points in Milwaukee. And you would have thought they won that game because of Bronny. You would have thought Bronny took the winning shot. It's really sad, man, because there's so much talent in the league, but the media only focuses on certain players. It's really sad, man. And I don't say that to say like Bronny doesn't
problem with the Bronny
deserve
James
his
fiasco
spot,
in this entire scenario.
There's more.
People act like it's a one-way
player
street,
that deserves
only
attention.
hate,
I mean, there's a
only
league full
bringing
of
him
great
down.
players.
When of course in reality, it's more media and fans, including LeBron himself, propping Bronny up when he's not a good NBA player. The entire point of this video is pretty simple. Bronny James' NBA career has played 22 total games. And one of those games had a halfway decent performance, and what happened? All of a sudden the entire media flips on a dime, this dude's legit, has potential, all of a sudden he's earned his spot. That right is my entire problem with the Bronny James fiasco. This dude plays bad for a month, a year, an entire season, but has one good game, and all of a sudden everyone else was wrong. The bar for Bronny James, the player, averaging 2 points per game, is below the floor. This guy could do anything, have a turnover, brick a shot, it'd be a hot on ESPN or social media. If you say Bronny earned his spot, isn't a Make-A-Wish player, here's my challenge to you. Stop treating him like a Make-A-Wish player when he has one good game, one shot, it doesn't go 0 of 6 from 3. Is that too hard to ask? I'm asking too much? I probably am. So that right there, that is...
Bro, like Bronny is literally the ultimate Make-A-Wish kid when you really think about it. Whether he was forced into that like position or not, there are a lot of people that say LeBron most likely forced him into you know, pushing him into joining the NBA. I will say the whole charade of LeBron saying, he announced that he'll go to any team that trades Bronny. But yet on the back end, Rich Paul was going around telling organizations not to draft Bronny. If they draft Bronny, they would make an enemy out of LeBron. LeBron planned this, right? He planned this.